It is still February, the coldest month of the year here in the Netherlands. Even though I'm not a fan of the cold, there is something so magical about sunny winter mornings. The frosty ice flakes greeting me in the morning on my window, the Dutch people getting to work on their bikes no matter how cold it gets, the glinstering of the morning sunshine on the icy grass and leaves outside. Every morning I go for a walk with our dog Bako, and I notice all the slight changes of the season. This week I spotted the very first spring flowers raising from their sleep beneath the earth, and more birds are starting to sing again. Bako's behavior changed as well. He gets more excited to go outside and he's almost dancing when he walks. All these little signs tell me that spring season is on the verge of making her entrance once again, and it puts a smile on my face. Here in my little art studio, I'm busy with 2 projects at the moment. I designed a very special frame covered in linen with pressed flowers inside of the beautiful fabric. Now I'm trying to figure out what type of artwork that I create fits the best within the frame. I have a few different ways that I approach my paintings, but mainly I use these 2 ways. The first approach I would call the classic way. It's when I paint directly on a stretched canvas to get to the end result. I start with fluid layers of earth pigments, and in the second phase I will crystallize shapes and details, painting with natural chalk paint and brushes. My studio is a little room inside our house. Depending on what project I'm currently working on, I need to be flexible with the things within the space to fit my needs at the moment. So sometimes I need the table as a working desk in the center of the room, and sometimes it has to stay on the side and has more of a storage function. What you don't see are all the things stored on the floor that I have to work around. Of course, I dream of a bigger studio space. It would be lovely to have fixed places within the room, like this is where I paint, this is where I sew my works, this is where I can leave them to dry. This is where I photograph them when they're finished. Now I lose a lot of time with moving things around, but we all have to start small, and we all have to start somewhere. I'm very grateful for the space that I have, even if it's not perfect. I started in a corner of our bedroom in a different house, and then I had the attic in another house with more space, but no straight walls to hang something on it. And now I have this little room. It's getting better every time, and I'm excited for what's to come. My second approach was born out of my love for collage work and experimentation. I love to experiment on loose sheets of linen or cotton canvas, and afterwards I will lay out my sheets to arrange them in ways that are appealing to me, which is like creating a collage basically. When I found an interesting combination and composition, then I will sew the fabric pieces into one piece of art and stretch it on a frame at the very end. The last couple of months I did a lot of experimenting, and by now the pile of painted sheets has become quite big. I thought that it would be a good idea to give myself a challenge for the month of March. I want to create 30 paintings in 30 days. It sounds kind of crazy, to be honest. If I want to post a new artwork on Instagram every day, also in the weekends, that means that I sometimes need to create multiple artworks in one day. I'm not quite sure if it is a realistic challenge for me, but I'd like to give it a try. I think that a lot of good things could come from it. I wish to increase my confidence and trust within my art practice, and I would also like to refine my style a bit more. I think when I challenge myself to create at least one finished work every day, there is no room for overthinking it. I just have to go purely with my gut feeling at the very moment, which could be really nice and helps to not be as perfectionistic about it. Also, when I indeed have 30 new artworks by the end of March, I'm pretty sure I will also have found out what the best artwork for my flower frame will be. There is something so peaceful about working with natural fabrics and feeling the earth pigments that created these incredible textures on the linen. I had a look at the first composition and decided quickly that this is not the one I'm looking for. It's always a bit nerve-wracking to cut into a painted fabric piece, but after trying out some more compositions, I knew that these had to be separate pieces. The lovely thing about approaching a painting like a collage work is that you have all these loose pieces to play with, and you can turn them around and see what creates the magic that I'm looking for. Now it's time to dust off my sewing machine and turn those loose pieces into one beautiful work of art. These quiet moments here in my little art studio are so precious to me. I can lose myself so much in the flow of the process that all worries and sorrows disappear for a while. The artwork becomes this own peaceful little world that my mind lives in for that moment. And I'm always shocked how fast time seems to fly by when I'm in that state. I want my artwork to bring exactly that peaceful energy into people's spaces. That sense of tranquility and peace that I find just as much in the process of creation as in the natural materials and soothing earthy colors that I love to work with. I love to work at the window, it's my favorite spot. I feel more connected to the outside world this way. I see the clouds softly passing by, birds flying around, people walking their dogs or driving by on their bike. This week, the temperature outside changed from -3 to +11 degrees Celsius, and I feel like it has a huge influence on the smell of the air. Suddenly, I could smell the water in the creek. I could smell the earth and all of nature growing in it again. I got so excited, it made me tear up actually. After so many months of winter where there is no smell in the air, just the cold, fresh feeling within your lungs, it's like you forget that these scents even exist until they suddenly make their way into your nose again. What an incredible world we live in.